First, I'd like to introduce to you about the current status and issues of the National Health and Nutrition Survey Japan. My name is Hidemi Takimoto, and I'm Chief of the Department of Nutritional Epidemiology and Shokuiku at the National Institute of Health and Nutrition. We welcome you to this Nutrition for Growth Summit Side event. Thank you. Next, I'd like to briefly introduce to you about the National Health and Nutrition Survey Japan. It was promulgated by the Health Promotion Act of 2002, but goes back to the aftermath of the Second World War at 1945, when it was first conducted in the Tokyo area. Currently, it aims to provide basic data on physical status, dietary intakes, and lifestyle habits of the Japanese population. Our institute is responsible for tabulating the data for the annual reports of the survey. 300 survey areas are randomly cluster sampled from census units all over Japan. Selected household members who are 1 year or older are invited to participate. In 2012, the first and large sampling was conducted, and a total of 32,000 subjects participated in the one-day semi-weight dietary survey. The second and large survey was conducted in 2016. This is an example of the household-based dietary record sheet. The name of the dishes and the amount of the food items consumed by each household member are recorded in the sheet, and the proportion of the food item consumed are also recorded. All household members aged 1 year and over report their one-day intakes. As I have already shown you, we have a long history of collecting data on dietary intakes. From 1995, we have data on individual intakes. As you can see in the slide, the changes in mean energy, fat, and protein intakes of Japanese are observed here. And on the left-hand side, you can see that energy intakes have decreased over time and recently have increased. For fat and protein intake, in the 1995 data, we had high protein, lower fat, but currently, at the latest value, you can see that fat intakes have gradually increased. In this study, we examined trends in dietary intakes from 1995 to 2016 National Health and Nutrition Survey. The participants were adults aged 20 to 79 years. And you can see we have a big number of participants. We examined energy, protein, fat, and sodium intake trends adjusted for age and participation in physical examinations. We used the joint point regression analysis. Here are the results we observed in the changes in energy, protein, fat, and sodium. On the upper left-hand side, you can see the energy intakes have decreased and recently have become stable. And as in the all data, you can see that for protein, fat as percent energy, fat proportion has increased and protein portion have gradually decreased. One change we can observe here is that for sodium, it has decreased for both males and females alike. Here I'm showing you the changes in mean intakes of selected foods. And for rice, from 2001, we changed the calculation method according to cooked rice. So it's sort of different, but you can see that rice consumption has been going gradually lower, and animal products such as meat and poultry, eggs have increased, and fish intake have gradually decreased over the time. Here I'm showing you the results from the enlarged survey. The enlarged survey was conducted to compare across different prefectures the Japanese synonym to province. For both men and women, you can see that the northeastern part of Japan have higher intakes and the western part have lower intakes. Here I'm showing you the mean salt intake according to prefecture, and you can see that like in the vegetable intake, the regions with high salt intake are also in the northeastern part of Japan. This is an introduction from the Lancet paper that high salt intakes are persisting public health problems worldwide. And for example, in East Asia, where Japan belongs, and also high-income Asia Pacific countries, high sodium intakes affect both mortality and DALYs. So, what are the dietary sources of salt among the Japanese? Here you can see that seasonings such as soy sauce and fermented soybean products called miso are the major dietary sources of salt among the Japanese. In fact, it has been declining, but has not changed substantially since 2003. Salt intake from seasonings is 6.5 grams per day, nearly 70% of total salt intake. We also examined the status of salt intakes in the Japanese in the 2020 NHNS by sex and age group. We divided into 3 age groups and for men and women here. And you can see that mean salt intakes are higher among the oldest age group in both men and women. In this slide, I'm showing you the top 10 food items contributing to salt intake among the Japanese. And in red letters, I'm showing you these 3 food items are the most commonly consumed food items in the National Health and Nutrition Survey. For example, soy sauce, nearly 80% of the whole adult population consumed them on the survey day. And the salt intake from the soy sauce consumers is very high, and it is the same again for miso, the soybean paste. I have introduced to you about the survey items in the dietary survey, but we have a physical examination component in the National Health and Nutrition Survey. It has a long history. The most surveyed item here is body weight. It has been measured since 1946, and height since 1948, and for blood pressure measurements. We have some transitions, but we have continuously measured blood pressure since 1956. And as I have already told you, we have measured weight and height for a long period. And this enabled us to examine the changes and, for example, underweight among young women, which is a health issue in Japan. You can see that irrespective of the population size of the region, the underweight prevalence have gone up from 1976 to 2000. And here I'm showing you about the overweight obesity and trend in underweight among adults. You see that for men, we have observed an increase in overweight obesity, but not much changed among adult women. The trend in underweight among women, on the other hand, has gradually increased over this period. Here I'd like to introduce to you about the major contributions of the National Health and Nutrition Survey to health policies. Besides from monitoring the status of people's health, nutritional intake, and lifestyle habits, we can also monitor the status of health policies, such as the Health Japan 21, the second term, and the basic plan for promotion of shokuiku, which is the Japanese for diet and food education. We also provide basic data for the development of dietary reference intakes for the Japanese. The survey data is also used for research purposes too. Here's the Health Japan 21 second term website, which is on our institute's web pages. We provide information regarding the monitoring of goals set in the Health Japan 21 second term, and we have information regarding the results of the National Health and Nutrition Survey, which is both in English and Japanese. So please visit our website. And I'd like to conclude that Japan is still currently under nutrition transition, as observed by the changes in dietary intakes and body size. The National Health and Nutrition Survey contributes to assess and monitor the current nutritional status of the Japanese population, and we hope we can contribute in the future too. Thank you for your attention.